Hi, I'm Corolla, and on Instagram I'm at From Corolla. In this video, I want to talk about the Common Planner by Sterling Ink and how I'm going to use it as a personal journal for 2023. So the Common Planner is created by Catherine from Sterling Ink. 2023 is the first year that they've created this planner for. It comes in a B6 size only. And you can get either a full year in one book, or you can get it in two books. And so it would be 6 months in one book and 6 months in a second book. And color choices were black or mauve, and I went with mauve because it's just so gorgeous and different and lovely. It comes with gilded edges, so foiling, which is really pretty. And of course, it's not going to look like this at the end of the year. It'll be all used and scratched up, but that's okay because it's part of the experience of using a planner or a journal. So I'm looking forward to it. I decided to go with the Common Planner as my personal journal for 2023 because I love the size. B6 is actually one of my favorite sizes, and I'm going to take that into 2023. And I also love the paper. The Common Planner uses the new Tomoe River Paper called Sansei TRP. And if you've watched my previous videos or you know me, you know that I love Tomoe River Paper because it's fountain pen friendly, and it also allows a little bit of watercolor. So if you're into painting, that's useful. So that's why I chose the Common Planner, and I'm glad I did because it's just so pretty and really nice. It feels great, and I love the layout. So I'll walk you through the layout and how I'm going to set it up as my journal. And so if you're interested in seeing that, keep watching, and I'll give you a little bit about my process and how I plan on using it. So the way that I've set it up, and I'll talk about the cover that I'm going to use after, I guess. So this is your cover page. 2023, you get a full year, which is really useful. I don't think I'll actually use it for anything, but that might change. So this first page, there's two pages or two sides that are empty grid. And the first page I'm going to use for intentions and also my word of the year, which I have yet to finalize. But when I do, I'll write it in here and just a little bit about that word and how what kind of feelings come to mind when I think about it. In terms of intentions, I do this with every one of my journals and planners. I just use the first page to write about what I intend to use this book for and what I want to gain from the process of using this book. So anytime I sort of get lost in what this book is even for and what the purpose is, I look back on my intentions and I bring it back down to the fundamentals of why I even started this book. And sometimes my intentions change over the year, and that's okay, but this is kind of my starting point, and I like that. So that's what I'll use the first page for. And then the second page I will use just as a vision or mind map of my goals for the year. And I kind of like creating a mind map because it's not a linear structure of how I see my year going. And there will be different sort of paths that this year will bring. And I map it out a little bit just to guide my thought process throughout the year. So that's how I'll use the first two pages. Then we have goal breakdown, which is really interesting. And I haven't seen this in any of the other planners that I've used. So I'll be interested to use this in a way where I can write down some of my values that are important to me. So like family, health, things like that. And then I'll map out, from daily, weekly, monthly, and so forth, just my habits around that and kind of a goal setting for my values or things that are important to me from a high level. And the next section is the quarterly section. So breaks down priorities and then the first 3 months, so January, February, March. And I think how I'll use this is in the priority section, I'll write out what I'm looking forward to for that quarter. So it could be events or it could just be like high level things that I look forward to. And then as the months go by, I'll write down highlights of those months. So it'll sort of stack up to what I was looking forward to in that quarter, but it will also sort of be standalone highlights of what actually happened and what made me excited during those months. And then the next, the page beside that are the months broken down, and it gives sort of an index of the days. And I think what I'll just write down are important things that happened during those days. And I might not fill it out for every single day, but I think when I look back, I would like to sort of see a high level of important dates that I have to remember, or, things that sort of stood out in my mind. And I'll do that for each quarter. And then the next section are the months. So the monthlies I'm going to use for my health and wellness check-in. Last year, I actually tried to use a separate book or planner for that, and I just felt like it was too much work to open up a separate book just to write about my health and wellness. So I'm going to incorporate that into my journal by using the monthly sections. And I'll just, every day I'll just do a quick blurb about how I felt, or if there was anything that stood out health-wise, fitness goals that I've tackled throughout the month. And I kind of like looking back and seeing, my health and lifestyle in that month, and maybe areas that I might want to tweak, or areas that really worked for me. So that's how I'll use the monthlies. And technically I can start as of December 1st, which I really like, because I'm not currently doing this in any of my journals or books. So I think I will actually start this in December. And I'll get a little feel for the paper and how it reacts and stuff like that. And then we have the weekly section. So for the weeklies, I really like this layout and the size of it and how much space you get. It's not too much, it's not overwhelming, but it's just enough for me to write down a snapshot of each day. So I think at the end of the day, I'll just go in here, write quickly the things that happened during that day, and a little bit of context around them, maybe a couple of thoughts around it. And then I think the top portion here, where it's the timeline sort of starts 3 lines down, I think above that I'll write, if I journal about that day specifically, I'll put in the page number, and it'll just say, see page, blah, blah, blah. And that's where my thoughts are contained. And the reason why I want to use that section as sort of a table of contents, or table of context, to give a little bit of context to each day, is because after the weeklies, you get into the dailies. But the dailies are undated, which is why I love this planner so much, because it has 369 or 370 pages of just blank grid. And I love that you can journal each day if you want to, because you have enough pages, or you can just journal whenever you want. And I think that release of pressure, like there's no pressure to fill out a day, page every single day. And I love that. And I think that's why I was attracted to this planner as a journal. And also why I love that each page is actually numbered. So this is where the indexing will help, because if I write, January 1st, if I write something on this page and then I skip a couple of days and I write something on January 3rd, what I can do is I can go to the weeklies and I can just put in, day 1 is January 1st, and then see page 2 for January 3rd thoughts. And I'll just continue that throughout the year. And I think it'll just make it a little bit easier to index the pages here, because, I don't know how I'll date it, or if I'll use a page per day, or if it'll kind of be, half a page or something like that. And I'd like a way to kind of index that and easily refer to it later. So that's my thoughts about using these daily pages for journaling. And I think I'm going to keep it pretty minimal, so I'll use fountain pens because of the paper being fountain pen friendly, and maybe a little bit of watercolor if I want to add color, or washi tape or PET just to add a little bit of interest, because I'm not so minimalist, but I kind of want to keep this somewhat simple and just for words and just for writing. So that's how I want to use the Common Planner. So the one thing you might be worried about when it comes to undated pages is running out of pages at the end of the year. And I don't think I'm going to worry about that. I'm just going to write as much as I want. And if I run out of pages, I can always tip in more pages in the end, or I can get a B6 notebook and just add it in and keep writing. Or what you can also do is just check in every now and then, because these pages are dated. You can check in, if you're on page 100 days in, what date should you be at? And then you can kind of gauge whether you have extra pages or if you've written more than the days allow, and kind of go from there. But what I would say is, don't pressure yourself with undated pages to, don't worry about running out of pages. There's always options if you do. And you can always tip in more pages or get an extra notebook to go with it. Or you may run into, a month where you just don't feel like writing, and then you can make up the pages that way. But I wouldn't worry so much about it before you even start the book, and have that hanging over. So I am going to enjoy it just the way it is. And in terms of a cover, I actually am going to be reusing my B6 cover from Aura Estelle. And I used it this year with a B6 undated, which is why I want to continue with a B6 next year, because I do like that size, and I think it's perfect in between A5 and A6. So I'm going to reuse this cover by putting in, so this Common Planner actually fits really well, and I'll just tuck it in like this, and I'll show you how much space there is. You actually have a lot of space to grow. So if I was gonna put in pictures and things like that, I wouldn't be so worried about bulking it up, but I don't think I will do that. So what I might do is just throw in this freely planned B6 notebook from Planner Monkey Co. And it has monthlies in here. Oops. It comes with undated monthly pages, and then it comes with just blank grid paper. And I think what I'm going to use this for is just some financial tracking, so budgeting, that kind of thing. And I've started testing it just for like mind maps and brainstorms and stuff, and I love the paper. It's also Tomoe River Paper, so I think I'm gonna use them together like this, and you'll see that the cover actually does really well with both books in there. So yeah, I think they both fit really well in there, and that's how I'll use my Common Planner as my journal. And I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really excited to use it and see how I actually like the undated journal piece, because for 2022, this year, I actually used the Hobonichi Cousin Avec, which is 2 books for a year, so you get 6 months in one book and 6 months in a second book. I've actually been using it as a journal, but I do find that sometimes when I don't have enough to journal about in a day, that I kind of feel the pressure of having the blank page. And what I started doing is drawing or painting on that page to cover it up. But at the same time, I don't know, I just don't kind of want to waste pages. So That's why I'm downsizing a little bit to the B6, and I'm also using undated pages for journaling. So I can just journal whenever I want, and I can journal, you know, for more than a page if I need to. So that's why I'm excited for this. So that's how I'm using the Common Planner for my journal next year. I hope that was helpful or gave you some ideas for how you could use the planner as a journal. Let me know what you're using as your journal or planner, and I'll see you in the next video. I'm Corolla. On Instagram, you can find me at From Corolla, and thanks for watching. Bye.